See, I won't do anything. I'm going to respect Nat King Cole. So,
I see what you're doing.
Yep.
Kenny, you see what he's doing? I see. Can we tell Luke no more Pistons talk during this segment either? I know he's got to do the update, but come on. Like, it's Good Friday, beautiful weather outside. I don't need to hear about a 40-game losing streak.
Right.
Luke, you were forbidden to talk about the Pistons for the next 45 minutes.
Right. Like, you know what? If they do something, then fine, we'll talk about it. But other than that, they're still going to be just as bad in the next 30 minutes.
Do you feel like they're getting more views because people just want to see how bad it can possibly get now?
I tuned in. I just wanted to see the train wreck.
You're like, it can't be this bad. I gotta watch, you know? Their TV numbers are probably off the charts the last couple
like,
weeks.
It's a win if they can get it within single digits. Like, okay, we got a shot. No, you don't.
Imagine your last 50 games. Like, if you said they were 15-35, you would be like, oh, my God, everybody needs to be fired. They're 4-46. Like,
they're about to go 0 for November.
That's impossible.
No. Imagine 0 for November and December.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
How?
I think
they're making it possible.
How, though? Oh, my goodness. All right.
You know what? No.
Because Cade has no help.
Cade's not going to be a Piston that much longer.
I want him to leave at this point. Just go.
I mean, talk about remorse.
You're free.
Yeah, right. I'm sorry.
Baby bird,
I'm sorry.
go.
I prayed for you to come here. Just bye-bye.
Monty Williams is just, I mean, I'm hoping those checks keep cashing because he's not, it's a job right now. It's like that job that everybody hates but paid you a whole lot of money. And you're just like, God, I really don't want to go to work, but I guess I have to.
Over under 8.5 more games before there's some kind of health issue or family issue that needs to be
no, can't do that. I'll explain to you why. We're not going down that road.
The Urban Meyer.
Just let it go.
Things are going bad.
TJ, look at me, TJ. Let's let that go right now. Let's let it go.
I'm not accusing Monty of doing it. I'm just saying when things get bad, that's the coach's.
TJ.
No, I do have a question for you, though, TJ. I have a question for you.
What am I missing?
Based off yesterday or last night blowout loss for the San Diego Los Angeles Chargers. Fired their coach this morning, fired their GM, and they're now firing assistant coaches. It's crazy today. What goes through the mind of an athlete when you're sitting there on the sidelines knowing that my coach isn't going to be here tomorrow? He won't be here. I'll be here.
Right.
And you're going through that on the sideline. What goes through your mind?
Guilt, I would say, more than anything. Honestly, I mean, it's guilt, you know. And I was here in Detroit when Coach Caldwell, you know, they moved on from him, and you feel responsible as players, you know. Bottom line is it's an execution league. I mean, you got to go out there and play.
But I mean, what do you? But at halftime, it's 42-0. I mean, and it's the Raiders.
And you know,
like this wasn't like the top team in the league is beating you.
Division team, and they're bad.
You know, the worst part too is Brandon Staley was just on record like last week saying, you know, the team's still buying in. If they weren't, you know, still responding to the messages, we'd be getting blown out every game. And then yesterday, you're like, oh boy. I mean, you couldn't have forecasted it much better if you were Brandon Staley. I don't know what took so long, to be honest with you. I mean, they've been so underachieving for a year and a half now. When you look at some of their losses, I don't know. And even the guys, you can usually tell when the players are genuine about, you know, believing in their coach. You can usually read between the lines and say, okay, you know, he's just saying that because he has to. All the guys there, you know, Khalil Mack talked last night, and I think Derwin James and some of their other guys, and it's like, we feel terrible. Like we like Brandon Staley. We're trying.
We
just
pick
don't
up the
know what's
phone
going
or stop
on.
in his office and just apologize? Like, hey man, this is kind of my fault. I'm sorry. Or do you just shrug your shoulder and be like, that's the business?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can really do at that point, right? It's just, hey, I mean, it's a failure. It's a complete failure. And I've been in that position. You feel guilty as a player because bottom line is if you play better, if you execute better, you know, nobody's getting fired.
So you heard that. It's TJ Lang's fault why Caldwell got fired.
Partly, yeah. I was a player on that team.
Could have just blocked somebody, TJ.
We underachieved. You know,
Saying Eastern Michigan no more, son.
Terrible. Now, there's other points where you can clearly tell what happened with the Raiders earlier this year, where the players were like, thank God, like we couldn't do this anymore. You know what I mean? Like, we love Antonio Pierce. You never hear.
I think
you
Pierce
never heard anything about Josh McDaniels. What they're saying about Antonio Pierce. So
if you're Pierce, then you should be getting that coaching job. Raiders should. You know what? We're just going to take that one off the market. Here's our coach. He's our guy.
So we just learned two things about TJ. We can blame him for Jim Caldwell. We can also say that he felt that way with Patricia. Get out of here.
I wasn't still playing when Patricia.
Okay.
I
All right.
With Patricia,
All right.
So, yeah. But I think that if you're going to compare the two, I think the Patricia end of that era was probably more comparable to the Josh McDaniels era in Vegas rather than the Brandon Staley. Like, the players genuinely seemed like they really liked Brandon Staley. And for whatever reason, it just wasn't working. And they've been an extremely disappointing team with all the talent that they have, and that the writing has been on the wall for that one for a long time. And finally, last night was just the ultimate breaking point. I mean, you get embarrassed.
I think the
like
breaking point was.
home.
I think the playoffs last year was that. You knew it was over.
Yeah, but last night was the final straw where we can't keep doing this.
Yeah,
but it was like
even Amazon was like,
but
can you give me anything?
Yeah, but you kind of look at today and you're like, about time, almost. You know what I mean? Like, nobody was surprised.
It was a mercy
that.
killing. The same thing happened at Michigan State. You know what? Mercy killing. Just go ahead and end this thing now. I don't want to go through the rest of the year. All right.
Happens.
We got our picks next. TJ, Bizarro World is still going on and on. I can't understand it, but Dave is still winning. So we'll get to our picks next. 97.1.